Welcome back to the Cheap Car Challenge there, guys. We've got some super exciting news to share with you. And look, that is basically the fact that we are going to keep this car for future. I've done it. I've made the decision. We're keeping it. So, look, when we bought the car, $200 there about 3 months ago, we picked this car up at $200 too. Very, very cheap. And we drove it home. It was still registered, but some remember it had a lot of problems. It was very sketchy on the road. The tacho wasn't working. The gauges weren't working. The alternator caught fire when we started up. There was a lot happening, but for $200, sort of what do you expect? And look, as I said, it was registered. We drove it home, no issue. Sort of no issue. Then got it home and started stripping it out. So we took the seats out, we took the carpet out, we cleaned it thoroughly because it hadn't seen a clean in about 10 years. We gave it a bath on the outside. We replaced the exhaust. As I said, we put a new alternator on it. We gave it a full service, a full check over, and look, here we are today. So basically, as I said, super exciting news. We are keeping this car, the $200 Cheap Car Challenge, as I said. And thus far, I've been keeping track of everything that I've spent on this car, and we're about $384 to be exact, on top of the $200 purchase price. So $580 thereabouts, you could say. This car owes us right in front of us, and it's a good car, and that's the reason why I'm deciding to keep it. So this video today, we're not going to do any mechanic work. What we're going to do, as I said, is just let you know what's happening with this car. We are keeping it, and just to show you a few of the projects that we've got going on behind the scenes. So first one is the upper plenum lid here, and we've been basically sanding him down and polishing him up. Well, not fully polished up just yet. And the reason why we took it off though is because these are generally horribly dirty inside, and it didn't surprise me when I took it off. Well, that was all black, full of oil residue, and that's because of the PCV valve and the blowback that the motors have to help reduce emissions. They recirculate their gases. I know it sounds crazy because like I used to explain to people, to be like running a hose out of your to your mouth and then trying to run a race. It's not a good practice. So, and that's exactly what the motors are doing. Best probably way to explain it. But look, the motors, to reduce emissions, they got the PCV valve and basically work through combustion pressure of the engine, blow back and recycle those gases. They recirculate back through the plenum lid, or back through the manifold I should say, and hit the plenum lid there. So the plenum was horribly dirty, and also a good chance when we took him off to sit him down on the rag here and polish him up. Now this is what I do to all my plenum lids on the Ecotech engines, and it works a treat. A little bit of time required and a little bit of elbow grease. However, what I've done with 40 grit sandpaper is worked this plenum lid back and forth, sanding all those rough spots off, all those burrs, any cast lines from factory, or even any heat spots that have built up in the alloy over time. You know, this car's 30 years old, so we had a big heat spot here and another one up the front there. We had a couple of little pits and marks. We sanded all those out with 40 grit sandpaper, and then made our way up through the grades of sandpaper, and making our way all the way to 1500. Now that is as smooth as anything. However, what it's not done, or what I have not done yet, is properly polished it up. So I've got a couple of polishers beside me, but they are not the right polish for alloy, and ideally what you'd want to use is such like an AutoSol alloy polish, or even a Mother's alloy polish. They do a really good alloy polish, and once I get some of that from the auto store, which I'll do tomorrow, this plenum lid, it'll come up like a mirror. It'll come up, you'll be able to see your face in it. So what we also did, the plenum lid I'll just show you, sits up on top of there. He looks nice and shiny, looks beautiful. And as I said, that's only part of the way polished just yet. Still got more to go. So the plenum lid's off, he's all been polished up. What I will do just quickly is grab a torch. We'll show you inside the engine bay here, in top of the manifold there. So inside the manifold is where I really wanted to clean. The plenum lid coming off is just a bonus. But inside the plenum here, or inside the manifold, upper manifold I should say, it was horribly dirty. And you can see some of that caked on oil down the chamber further. And that's what I was cleaning out. So you can see how clean it is up here, but you can see how horribly dirty it is down there. So all that basically, as I said, is due to this basically line here, breather line here, that runs back down to your PCV valve, which is located inside your manifold there. And as I said, that recirculates your gases, burns off all the emissions, therefore creating a cleaner motor. But it recirculates your gases, and you can block that PCV valve off. We're not going to do that today. We're not going to do that now. We're just going to button it back up because we do need to move this car. So next project, after the plenum lid and cleaning the manifold, the next project we did while we had the throttle body off here, and now this controls, this is basically controlled by your accelerator. So you've got your accelerator cable coming off the side there, and what I love about the older cars is the newer cars are all called fly-by-wire, which means basically they've got a sensor on the side. When you put your foot down on the accelerator, you've got a sensor on the side of your accelerator, and the sensor senses how far you depress the pedal, and then tells the sensor on the side of the throttle body how far to open up. Now these old cars here, they're all driven by wire. So they're all driven by a cable, just like your brake cable on your old mountain bike. That's what they've got sitting on the side. So it's direct power. When you put your foot on the accelerator pedal, you're pulling down on the cable, opening up the butterfly, giving that motor, giving the throttle body air, and giving the motor air. So look, that's all here and there though. What I have done with the throttle body, as you can see, I've sanded it all out. Now the reason I've done that is because once again, they come out factory with a bit of a car slip in them. And I don't like that car slip. I always knock them out of the old throttle bodies. And you can do an upgrade. You can do a V8 throttle body or even a twin throttle body on the Ecotec V6 engines. I've never done it. I've seen it done. Looks cool. But look, this is just all easy mods you can do. And the car slip, once you grab a factory throttle body or pull your throttle body off, you'll see it straight away. Sits just around there. And as you can imagine, as the air rushes down this way, past that car slip, it's got to jump up over the car slip and it changes the velocity of the air. So look, just small mods. As I said, we sanded down the upper intake manifold plenum there and we made that valley nice and smooth. Well, we've done it with the throttle body as well. We've sanded it all down, made it all smooth. And my intention in future is to get a nice cold air induction kit, and that will also increase airflow, because at the moment, I'll just show you here, it's just got a factory airflow. So there's your mouth right there. Your air comes in, goes up through your filter, cleans all that dirty air, cleans all the leaves and dust, and then runs up through the top of your airbox. You've got your MAF sensor that sits right there, and your MAF sensor stands for mass airflow. So basically it registers and reads the airflow of your air. And you've got those little needles that basically register the airflow. Now this is horribly dirty too. Let's put you in the light a bit better. Horribly dirty inside there, and I have not cleaned in this just yet because I don't have the right type of spray, the right type of cleaner. Now, I've got brake cleaner, I've got, look, I've got WD-40, I've got all those different types of sprays in the office there. However, what you need for this is MAF sensor cleaner. I would never ever use anything else. Actually, the only other thing I'd use is like a circuit board cleaner, because it's very, very sensitive, those little needles. And if you damage them, or if you happen to spray the wrong stuff, like degreaser, or look, I've seen other people use brake cleaner, it actually will damage those little needles. You won't get the right airflow reading to your motor. So anyway, that is about it for us right now. We've got to put the throttle body back on. We've sanded that out, polished them all up. He looks amazing. We've done the same thing with the upper plenum chamber, the little valley there. Sanded him all out. He looks amazing once again. I don't know if I showed you that, but just in there off the throttle body, I've sanded all that out too. Once again, you can just still see that remaining car slip, but the cast line there, or the car slip there, was a lot more prominent before I started. So we've sanded him out all nice and clean, all nice and smooth. We've cleaned up in the manifold there. We've done the throttle body, we've done the plenum lid. That can all get buttoned back up again. We will pull the MAF sensor out later because we will need to put that in to start the car just for now. So we will pull out the MAF sensor, the throttle or the MAF sensor body there later, sorry I should say, and clean all that up too. So need to finish my coffee first. And as I said, we're going to clean up the shed, move the car over a little bit, because we are keeping it, we are stripping it down on the outside now, and we are going to spray paint it for future. So anyway guys, that is about it for us today. Be sure to drop a comment and let us know what colour we should go. So cheers, and I hope to see you for plenty more to come.